Peace and positive. This is Amelia A. Altar, aka Emily MC, author of Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind. And today's topic is on throwaway culture, disposability, recognizing value or what's special in our lives, and removing ourselves from what doesn't protect the irreplaceable in and around us. Now, before we get into some clips from the global community, we're looking at the culture of disposability and asking a few layered questions about it. Is everything replaceable, or do special people, places, and things need our protection and acknowledgement? And is this true even way beyond workplace, transactional relationships, and capitalistic narratives? Have we conditioned the special out of our lives? And if so, how do we restore it or call more in? Now, once upon a time, particularly through the 2000s, hip-hop and pop R&B gave us vocabulary for affirming our self-worth in the face of weird, off, and less than healthy behavior. Artists had audiences repeating phrases like, quote, "Don't you ever for 1 second get to thinking you're irreplaceable," and "Thank you, next." Now, active head nodding, passionate karaoke, and emotional lip syncing also went along with titles like Be Careful, Comfortable, Here We Go Again, So Gone, and She Really Thinks She Irreplaceable. A related subset of song topics lives just as prominently in hip-hop and R&B, as well as all of music, and that's in songs talking about the somberness, humbling, deficits, and emotional damage caused by someone who left an experience and in doing so, left a more than noticeable void. But what we're looking at today isn't the act of the leaving. We covered that in the Day 8 Courage and Knowing When to Leave episode. We're also not looking at the question or process of having to prove our lives are valuable. We covered this in Day 3's Hustle Culture and Burnout episode. What we're looking at today is the topic of irreplaceability itself as a quality of life issue. Now, it may be true that the world has adopted more and more of a disposability mindset via globalization driven by Eurocentric and Western American society. For example, only in recent decades have more measures been taken against fast fashion and the disposability of clothes because of the harm to our environmental health and, in some countries, occupational health of sweatshops, slave labor, and child labor. Now, according to a 2019 study by the Journal of Environmental Psychology titled The Effects of Fashion Leadership on Compulsive Buying and Fashion Involvement, quote, "The fast fashion industry promotes a culture of disposability, where clothing is worn briefly and then discarded. The constant pressure to keep up with fast fashion trends can lead to compulsive shopping behaviors and anxiety related to appearance," end quote. The NYC Fair Trade Coalition cited this in their 2023 note on throwaway culture and mental health, adding that, quote, "It's essential to recognize the link between our consumption patterns and mental health and make conscious choices that promote a more sustainable and emotionally fulfilling lifestyle," end quote. Ratio. There's also been positive movements in business by those creating products built to last. Much like many of us hear about the equally questionable good old days, where the elements of sourcing, making, and integrity of makers existed in completely different circumstances. But I remember a line of customizable cookware which came out in the 2010s, blew up, then literally went out of business because their products were so good and made so well. Once people bought them once, they never had to buy them again. Now, I also remember a viral news cycle when said company went out of business. And ultimately, in the business world, this was seen as a bad thing, meaning some would rather people are dependent on a product which needs to be repurchased or maintained time and time again. And this stance gives off a very questionable, side-eye, deserving vibe. Now, research on the nitty-gritty of disposability as a culture and consequence of modern society is still growing. A 2016 study by Yongwei Jiang at the School of Management, Jinan University in China, titled Exploring the Determinants of Perceived Irreplaceability in Online Community, proposed that, quote, "Perceived investment, i.e., personalization, learning, and perceived benefit, i.e., hedonic value, utilitarian value, play a joint role in the development of perceived irreplaceability," end quote. Essentially, it's the values that cannot be replaced by other activities or elements which drive our decisions to stick with or discard a person, place, or thing. The suggestion that creating cheap, disposable, and interchangeable products is a good thing has gone beyond business and impacted social and relational dynamics, even in music. The term microwave music was adopted throughout the 2000s to describe the fast tracks equivalent to fast fashion, i.e., a steady supply of proven, formulaic, duplicatable, and in some cases, soulless music in heavy rotation on mainstream radio, television, and media. Now, I've heard every generation have commentary about the questionable motives, methods, and artistic integrity that seems to have affected the majority of mainstream music, yet it's still largely included and represented in the social majority and on world stages. There's also the stance on high output and artists who put out so much art. It can get hard to distinguish what's truly special in their catalog or what investments are meaningful in what ways. Even some of the greatest indie, underground, and mainstream hip-hop artists of all time have had their catalogs questioned for what could be construed as filler tracks and albums put together out of habit or therapy more than intention. In some cases, rappers and singer-songwriters have acknowledged when they were just putting out music to fulfill a contractual obligation and move on. So we know in those cases, unless explicitly said otherwise, the quality of special was likely compromised from jump. Now, when you look around, this counterintuitive reality is reflected almost everywhere. Another underspoken and overlooked duality of sorts. A moral double standard, a double vision that's hard to shake. We want special things, special experiences, special people in our lives. Yet, we are conditioned to the disposability of almost everything and everyone. The ripple effect of, quote, throwaway culture includes consumerism, digital dating, increased mobility, relationships, and even the way we look at regular objects. Associate Professor of Psychology Omri Galath stated in his 2016 coverage of this topic with the University of Kansas that his, quote, current study points to a mobile society characterized by disposability, which tends to promote superficiality over profounder human relationships. If you know you're moving and develop the idea that everything can be replaced, you won't develop same strong and deep ties. We're suggesting this is a broad phenomenon where we all tend to look at relationships to coworkers, friends, and social network members as replaceable. Research suggests only deeper, high-quality ties provide us with the kind of support we need, like love, understanding, and respect. You need these very close ties to feel safe and secure and function properly. If social ties are seen as disposable, you're less likely to get what you need from your network, which can negatively affect your mental and physical health, as well as your longevity. End quote. Now, this topic was greatly inspired by a situation I described in the very last chapter of my book, where I was once called replaceable to my face by a former employer in a group chat of a rising startup company. Long story short, I was incredibly far from that, quote, replaceable label. And when I resigned from the job shortly after, I also handed in a full SWOT report on the company. Now, in case you don't know, a SWOT report, SWOT, is like a breakdown. It's looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a collective and coming up with resolutions for growth and development based on thinking through those observations. So those employers read my report and also found I was anything but replaceable like I knew I was. And one even did his best to get me to stay on, saying that my SWOT report was among one of the best he'd ever read, even out of Harvard Business School, which did not move me or impress me out of the full truth of the situation, respectfully. Because by then, it was already too late for me. On my face was a symbolic scar of capitalist onslaught, which nothing could reverse. That statement came from a specific place, which tried to coerce me into believing I was as disposable as these transactional systems condition us to believe. I couldn't be comfortable with the behavioral choice and intellectual ignorance that a leader of a startup company I was helping to build would view me as replaceable and have little to no idea who I was, what I was about, nor make the time to understand my role and utility in their very vulnerable business. Now, I'd gotten this wisdom and intellectual attitude actually from hip-hop, my love of battle rap, and some of my biggest inspirations who also happen to be thought leaders in the culture. The moral of that story was not only that I removed myself and protected the irreplaceability of my brilliant mind and physical body, which was on the line for this job daily and weekly, but that these employers lost out on a worker, which could have been a massive benefit to their brand and business, and was unique in that regard. To that point, every once in a while, our ego does a good thing and gives us confidence, esteem, and self-worth to know we can handle challenges and are capable of success. Yet sometimes this goes too far, and we think ourselves out of good things, hold on to unhealthy pride, which does emotional and possibly financial damage, and are left with the void of knowing a special person, place, or thing can never be experienced the same way again. Now, we can preventive care such losses, voids, and inconsolable grief by recognizing, appreciating, cherishing, and actively valuing who and what is special and why, and giving special its rightful space in our realities. It's the emotional and psychological complement to the phrase, giving respect where respect is due. Recognizing value is not just an emotional ability. It's more than claiming, nurturing, and investing in what means something to us. It's not just a willingness to see where we're wrong, missing information, being narrow-minded, or could stand to let go. It's also a quantifiable skill in business. There's an entire field in finance and entrepreneurship dedicated to something called valuation, where evaluating is literally all that's done. And we saw some of this in the previous Day 13 episode on money and wealth. Now this and things like cost-benefit analysis can literally translate into making thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars just from awareness, observation, and discern. But it can also translate to powerful relationships and unforgettable experiences. Recognizing value is also a trait of wisdom, meaning it can benefit and or save our lives. And it's a quality of life tool which ensures we don't miss out on the good, right, and true things in life. Even when the world seems to be in flames or falling apart, the things we acknowledge and assign as, quote, special to us and having above average value are important, not disposable, and not easily replaceable. Willfully, we realize this before it's too late, heed the lessons of what's special, and never need the lessons repeated again. If you're following along with my original book, we're on the Day 15 quote from page 273. And this is the final prompt, oh my goodness, from my youth workbook. This is prompt number 15. Thank you all for your support of Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind. And without further ado, let's roll the clips and hear from the global community about the special nouns and experiences in our lives and the culture, right, wrong, and indifferent, of being valuable or disposable. Peace.
You wrote Irreplaceable.
I did. Mm-hmm.
So what experience made you write to the left, everything you wrote in the box to the left?
That experience was actually, I don't write well from fiction. I can do it, but normally the songs that come out the best are the ones that actually happened.
Okay.
To the left actually happened. It didn't happen to me, it happened to my aunt. I grew up in a house with my mother, my sister, my grandmother, and about 5 aunts.
Okay.
Right? So, and me. So that's all women and me. So I was there for every ex-husband, every new boyfriend, every slashed tire, every broken window. My aunt was actually dating this guy who she was taking very good care of, you know, to the dismay of all of the other aunts. They were like, you spending money on this dude, you don't even know where he at right now, whatever. So she found out that he wasn't doing right. He came to the house one day, I'll never forget, because I was sitting watching cartoons. He walked in, you know, patted me on the head. I used to hate when he would do that. And he walked in, and I remember him saying to her, hey, where all my stuff at? And she go, oh, to the left, see that box right there? Yeah, that's all your stuff. Yeah, all that other stuff, the stuff that I bought, leave it there. That's the stuff you came with.
Wow.
And it was just the funniest thing ever. And it stuck with me. So I wrote the song, and she was mad about me writing this song. Initially, she was mad, oh, putting my business in the street, what's wrong with you? But after the song picked up, you know, all of a sudden it was, you know, if it's anything else you remember
right.
from that time period, you can go ahead. It's all right. I saw this lovely BMW the other day.
Well, people always talking about fumbling the bag. Y'all be talking about money. I ain't talking about money. I'm talking about fumbling people of value. Fumbling people that you meet one time in a lifetime. People that you don't get twice. Energies that you can't find elsewhere. People that'll sacrifice for you, love for you, fight for you, do for you, and then you shit on them. You can't shit where you sleep and not expect to smell like poo.
I've been hearing the notion of I'll get a replacement when you're gone. You're not the only person in the picture. and you go, somebody will come. Let me tell you one thing that this generation has normalized. Letting go of good people. Hell no. You should not make the pride and the ego that you have let go of good people. Because there are some people that you and I know that your pride will not allow you. They are not replaceable. Whether you want to believe it or not, there would never be a replacement for them. So if you're making a decision today, sit down and think about it critically. And don't let social media fool you. Make a better decision. If the person is worth letting go or staying. But if you weigh the good side, and the good side outweighs the bad side, stay there. Whether business, relationship, marriage, friendship. Don't let go of good people because you were not comfortable in the situation or you didn't understand what was going on in the picture.
Hey, I saw a post on Instagram that said, y'all be out here taking people's presence for granted as if their absence won't hit hard. And that's so real. That is so real. Y'all really be out here taking people's presence for granted because y'all let society fool y'all into thinking that everybody's energy is replaceable. Y'all think that the grass is always greener on the other side. Some energies are irreplaceable. You're gonna meet some people, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, a romantic partner, that they really are gonna be irreplaceable. Their energy really is gonna be different. It's gonna be a once in a lifetime type of experience, but you're gonna take it for granted because you're gonna think that the grass is greener on the other side. You're gonna think they're replaceable. And you're gonna find out the hard way that you just had one of the most genuine people in your corner, but you thought the grass is greener on the other side, so you lost out on it. And that sucks for you. That really sucks for you. Stop being stupid, y'all. Society paint this picture, make you think that it's so many options. It's so many great people out here. I promise it's not. I promise it's not. It's a blessing to find some good, genuine, pure, real, loyal people to have in your corner. I promise.
You know, I need you to realize that some people in this world are irreplaceable. Like the way they love, the way they give, the heart they have, the things that they offer. And some people are going to find that out way too late in life. They're going to miss out on amazing people because they think that they could find better.
Got a little abolition theory for you. Has to do with throwaway culture. Now, I don't believe in throwaway, but I'm also not okay with being a trash heap. And I think this is a good way to think about it, at least for me anyhow, in terms of our people are redeemable. And yet the cancel culture that's out here wants to just like get rid of folks. And the prison industrial complex takes people and throws them away and says these folks are unwanted and we don't need them and we never want to see them again. And then there's never any redeeming qualities. Like after they serve their time and pay their debt to society, they're still being pushed out, denied. There's over 144,000 different legal barriers. And when we do this in our community and we just cancel people out, it's really just a continuation of that process. And yet at the same time, you know, one of the things that I found is this like toxic behavior to keep folks around us who continue to do harm. And that's a problem for me. And so the threshold that I built in is I disagree with throwaway culture, but I won't be a garbage heap. Is really talking about, you know, are the folks in my life that are causing harm, are they interested in doing things to improve their behavior over time? And if there's at least an open door, then I'm good with it. For them to like look at changing. But if they are unwilling and incapable to do the deep introspection and continue to cause harm after an accountability conversation has occurred, then I'm then open to make a decision to not have this person as closely in my life at that point until they're willing to do work to not cause more harm to me or to others.
There's a woman that I follow on this app, and she does these get ready with me videos. I'm going to tag her below. But one of the things she was saying as she was getting dressed, she has these boots and she says, I love these boots and I don't care what happens to them. I'm going to take them to the shoemaker.
Because that's one of the things we need to do is repair our things instead of replacing them.
Sometimes we need to learn to repair instead of replace. Say it again for the people in the back that didn't hear. Sometimes we need to repair instead of replace. We definitely live in a society where everything feels like it's disposable and even people. So when it comes to you, Repair the relationship that you have with yourself instead of replacing it with vices. When it comes to your family, your friends, your siblings, repair the relationship instead of trying to find other people to replace them. There are certain things and certain situations that are definitely worthy of repair.
One of the things that kind of radicalized me as a kid is seeing how much stuff we throw away, like good stuff, really good stuff that could be used by people, but just gets trashed. So here's a little article. Grocery store employee raises questions after sharing photo of carts full of wasted food. I see this on a daily basis. As usual, I suggest you go look up articles like this because the more traffic they get, the more they want to write about it because they see people are interested in it. But really, you know, in my earlier years when I was working for like fast food and different stuff like that, grocery stores, I could not believe how much stuff got thrown away. Good stuff that people could use. And as a matter of fact, there were even times when the grocery store employees would be instructed to destroy this stuff so that nobody could come and like, you know, dig through the garbage and get it and use it. What kind of society does that? What kind of society just throws away perfectly good goods when we have all sorts of things like a homelessness crisis and people are going hungry in this country, like this first world nation that we live in, yet these things get trashed. And there's so many like far-reaching like problems that come from this. Like we're talking about stuff that's perfectly good, that could be composted, that could go to like feeding people, that could feed animals and things like that, but we just trash it, and then it turns into like more, you know, filled up landfills, and just it's absolutely absurd. Can someone explain it to me? Like, I'm 5 years old. Because I have a theory. I feel like this is a way to normalize throwing stuff away. This is part of our like consumerist culture, the way that we our throwaway culture, the way that we just use things and make things to break. Like we make them to last a short period of time, or, you know, only the only purpose of it is for those quarterly profits, to make sure that on paper it looks like we're doing better now than we did the last 3 months. And this is a problem. This is a big issue, and it's going to get worse. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie WALL-E, a little Disney movie about the robot, and he's just like roaming around in like all those huge garbage piles. Yeah.
Don't kill yourself for no job. You are a person whose life matters, and that is easy to forget in this thoughtless world. You are killing yourself for a job that would replace you in a second if you drop dead. Take care of yourself. You are more than a job.
I need you to come in. We're shorthanded and I don't have anybody to provide the training today. I apologize for the predicament that you're in, but it is my day off and I'm going to enjoy it by getting some milkshakes with my family. You know you're easily replaceable, right? I don't find that statement to be accurate. In fact, I would actually behoove you to keep me around, because to hire a new person and to train them will cost you money and time. Not to mention, it will likely put the position that I do in a revolving door where you'll be hiring people and then firing them, or they will just likely quit because they can't stand you or the company. So really, it would be kind of doing me a favor if you were to let me go, because it would kind of be like I'm on vacation, since I would get unemployment and wouldn't have to deal with you every day. So I guess it might kind of be a good thing to let me go. You make some good points. I think I'll just cover the training today, but don't get used to it. Oh, shoot. I kind of had my hopes up there for a minute. But you know, I was hoping to start a new chapter of my life. But I mean, if that's okay, I guess I'll get my milkshakes now, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Your job can replace you faster than your family can heal from losing you. Some of y'all are killing yourselves for jobs that would post your position before your obituary even makes it around the office. So let's be real here. Some employees are giving their whole life to work, skipping breaks, working through lunch, answering emails at all time of hours, putting your family, your health, and your peace on the back burner. And the question becomes, why are you doing this? Because a lot of jobs will let you burn all the way out, then replace you like nothing has ever happened. That's why I keep saying, stop treating your job like it loves you back. Do your work Of course, be professional, be valuable, but stop over-sacrificing for workplaces that would move on without missing a doggone beat. Because the truth is, some of y'all are being loyal to a paycheck. And I've been a victim of that. So I'm not sitting here saying something that hasn't happened to me directly. Loyal to a paycheck, but not a purpose. And that kind of blind loyalty will have you stressed out, sick, mentally ill, unavailable to your family, and still you're not protected from layoffs, terminations, or restructures. And I need you to understand that. Work matters, but it should never matter more than your life. Your job is replaceable. Remember, you're not.
We're also easily replaceable. Then why are we always so short-staffed?
And that is why this new generation of workers are built differently. And on top of that, the 2-week notice is a joke at this point and shouldn't exist. And I'll tell you why. When a job says, oh, you are easily replaceable, right? That would imply that your job is easy. If you're easily replaceable, that means that the work you do is easy enough to teach anybody to do it, right? But if that's the case, how come while you're working for that job, they make it seem like your job is so important and so difficult and we need you to come in whenever you want to take time off or you're sick, right? Or you want to take a vacation or it's your off day and they call you in. They make it seem like you're the only person that can do the job until you want to leave. All of a sudden, you're easily replaceable. Come here, stop that. This new generation of workers, they see right through that. They see the lack of respect. So why would they respect the company by putting in a 2-week notice? Don't worry, I'll wait. Exactly. Quit whenever you want to, and this whole entire thing is just a joke at this point.
What is a person, and what is a person's dignity? Here, I wish to account for what Pope Francis said about the need to move away from a throwaway culture, where if someone is no longer seen as valuable, we just discard them. Whether it's the elderly, whether it's a fetus, whether it's someone who's poor, whether it's, I would add to this, a non-documented individual, if they don't bring value to me in some commodified terms, just discard them. That is a deeply troubling phenomenon in our culture today. Let me quote Dr. King here. I am convinced that if we are to get onto the right side of the world revolution, we as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values. We must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society, when machines and computers, profit motives and property rights are considered more important than people. The giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered.
This is going to make some people upset, but hear me out. If you can remember that all women live their lives seeking safety, emotionally, physically, financially, you name it, everything they do is to obtain safety. Even the more masculine women, these women are like that because it's a safety mechanism. So if you can remember that in every interaction you have with her, by finding ways to make her feel safe, this could be by reassuring her, putting things in place to make her life easier when she's struggling with something. Even listening to her makes her feel emotionally safe. This mentality works on any woman in your life as well. If you feel like there's a woman acting a little nutty in your life, if you can act from a regulated nervous system with a response that's catered towards her deep desire to feel safe, this will make you absolutely irreplaceable.
I was about 15 years old when my mom sat me down and she said, Alex, you don't want it. She says, effort is a reflection of interest. And if you're not working to keep it, then you actually lose it. And that's for just multiple areas of your life, you know. And it's like, she really taught me that a woman's love is worth 2 times more than a man's love, because a woman's love multiplies, you know. That's not to say that a man's love should go unnoticed, but she taught me that the good ones provide balance, stability. They know when to put down and push and pull and only just pray. Because her love mirrors God's love. She taught me that the good ones will never distract you from your goals of fulfilling God's calling over your life. And if she's really for you, she's going to be with you for the right reasons, and she's going to inspire you in such a ways that you'll be determined to reach your goals even faster. She said that she won't be concerned with the unnecessary, but she'll only address what matters, because one of her main focuses is to keep you focused. See, she's irreplaceable. She said, Alex, it's easy to get caught up out here and fill a space, fill a void, but it's rare when you have somebody that is worth the actual spot in your life. So what I've learned is the good ones, they're going to challenge you, but they're going to show you why. They don't just settle for anything. And every time, she's going to show you why she deserves the best and nothing less. Because all you really need is one great woman out here with a kind, loving, gentle heart that speaks to the king in you. Because that alone is worth way more than 3 or 4 or 5 random women on a Wednesday texting you what you doing, how, good morning. So all I'm saying is if you take care of that something good, then that something good will take care of you.
One thing you have to understand is you can listen to all the podcasts, all the trauma advice, but certain people are not replaceable. Everybody's replaceable, but everybody's not replaceable. And a lot of people don't even get to witness this. So if you got to witness it or you witnessing it, count your blessings. You can find a partner. You can find somebody to kick it with. You can find somebody to hang out with, chill with, fuck on, whatever you want to call it. That's the easy part. But finding the one that accepts the challenges or has the small intangibles or pays attention to the small details, you won't find that everywhere.
I would be comfortable living on the streets if I could get 2 seconds with her.
This is your mom's mom or your dad's mom? Mom's mom.
My mom's mom. My dad's mom's still alive. She's a gangster.
She's a gangster?
Like 94 right now. So.
Where is she?
She lives in the Bronx.
I'm sorry, I got you emotional so early in the conversation. That doesn't usually happen.
It's cool, though. These are things that humble me.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Because I be moving so fast, and sometimes I forget about what's more important in life. And it's easy to get caught up in this game. And you just bring me back to reality. But it's cool.
What do you think is important?
What, with life?
Yeah.
Living it to the fullest. I've learned that people are more important than currency to me in my life. You can always make some money, but you can't make a good person. And you can't get them back once they're gone. So cherish them while they're here.
You can always make some money, but you can't make good people. My name is Lakeisha Willens. I'm a certified life coach, and I help people push past their fear and reach destiny. You can always make some money, but you cannot make good people. So stop. Whenever you have good people around you, make sure you cherish those people. Make sure you treat them good, because when they're gone, they just gone. Okay? You can always make money. We can always make money, but we cannot make good people. Let's take care of our good people around us.
I saw this creator on here talking about how when someone fumbles the bag with you, when they lose you, that's their bad karma. You are such a blessing of a person. You're literally an angel in human form. You leaving their life and no longer associating with them and cutting them off and not letting them spin the block, that is their bad karma. They missed out on the biggest blessing they will have ever experienced in their life. They'll never know what it would have been like to be so truly blessed because they missed out on you. Let that be their loss. Let that be their bad karma.
They're wishing they never crossed paths with you because your energy has ruined other people for them. So when they first had you, they took you for granted. They didn't know how special your energy actually was. They thought that they could find your energy in just about anybody else. And they probably told you this to your face too. Like, they told you straight up, like, you're not special. Like, I could find this somewhere else. Come to find out, with them trying to replace you, them trying to find other people, they are now starting to realize what exactly it was that they lost. Because just how you are, you validating them, you going out your way, you giving up your time to be there for them, they didn't see any of these things. They felt very entitled to your energy. And at the times when you would try to set a boundary, they would get very angry because they're like, this energy is mine. So how dare you take it for yourself? And now they are finding out just exactly how it is out there, where people aren't even doing half of it. That's generous. People aren't even doing like 25% of the stuff that you are doing. And this person, they miss you a lot. But also too, it's like a love and hate type of thing. They miss you, but they hate that they even met you, because now other people, they're so desensitized to others that this other person, they probably don't even want to like even start it up with anybody else because they know it's just futile.
Hello everyone.
Today, let's talk about the social exchange theory. People who are constantly confused in interpersonal relationships often face a dilemma. They worry that their efforts in relationships may not get a proper return, like always being the one to initiate conversations but getting cold responses. This makes them feel unappreciated and hesitant to continue investing in relationships. The social exchange theory redefines this situation. It posits that social interactions are essentially exchanges where individuals seek to maximize rewards and minimize costs. Just like in a market, we weigh the benefits and drawbacks in our relationships. These rewards can be emotional support, respect, or companionship, while costs might include time, energy, or emotional stress. So, what can we do? First, be aware of your own exchange expectations. Communicate openly with the other person about your needs and boundaries. If you feel you're giving too much without reciprocation, have an honest conversation. Second, evaluate the long-term value of the relationship. Sometimes short-term imbalances may be normal, but if it's a chronic issue, it's time to reconsider. Remember, you have the power to create healthy and balanced relationships. By applying the social exchange theory, you can better understand your interactions and make wiser choices. You deserve relationships that bring you joy and fulfillment.
You can replace the position, but you can't just replace the person. Because if you ever had a dope person that come into your life when you least expected it, but when you most needed it, somebody who respected you, somebody who treated you well, somebody who loved you exactly for who you are, you already know you can find someone to fill the role, but you can't just duplicate that soul behind it. You can't recreate the way they loved you, the way they made you feel seen, the way they made you feel safe, without you having to pretend, perform, or explain. Positions are easy to fill, but connection is built, it's earned, it's learned. And once you had it, you don't forget it. You feel the difference every time you try to replace it, because you can sit somebody new in that spot, but you'll still notice the empty space where the right person used to fit.
Hip-hop was supposed to have a new big three in the 2020s, but that era never happened. Three irreplaceable artists dominating their own lane. XXXTentacion was the most versatile artist of the next generation. He broke out with rage anthems, built a massive following through raw vulnerability, and carried that into mainstream success with melodic hits, including a #1 song and Diamond record. X wasn't boxed into one sound. He was the sound. Pop Smoke was becoming the face of drill. He turned street anthems into global hits and still made Loverboy records that women loved. Even before the posthumous hits, Pop Smoke already laid the blueprint. That's why he was on track to be this generation's 50 Cent. Juice WRLD was the face of emo rap. He turned heartbreak, addiction, and anxiety into anthems that dominated the charts. Freestyling entire songs, releasing hit after hit, he built one of the strongest fan bases we've ever seen. That's why Juice was more than an emo rapper. He was the voice for people that felt misunderstood. It's a tragedy all three passed before they were 22, because with the range they showed, they would have all been in the GOAT conversation by the end of this decade.
Speak on this and not get quasi-emotional about it, but, you know, one person's decade-long break is another movement's drought or tsunami, if you will.
Well, I would have liked to have seen more girls who were original, like a Lauren, so to speak. It just didn't happen. For some strange reason, it didn't happen.
For me to go try to find another Lauryn Hill, that's like me trying to find another Jay-Z. I mean, it's just, the reality of it is those things we don't find those things. Those things find us.
There's no way that you can recreate that or even get inspired to challenge that, because there's no blueprint that's left there.
If one person can disappear and people can say, well, something's missing, then what that person embodied and what they represented to the culture and the art form was paramount. And actually what's missing is what we need to deal with, as opposed to, I think, just the individual herself or himself.
You cannot stay in environments where people don't know the true value of you. If you stay in environments where people don't recognize the value of you, you will shrink your gift to the size of what they can stand. And that's what causes anxiety and depression and stress, because you have had to shrink into a form where people can tolerate you. I refuse to be small because you think small. I'm not shrinking my vision because you can't catch up. You either better roll with me or you gonna get rolled over.